Alright folks, welcome back to Gourmet Assembly, where we're basically your snack-obsessed bestie, dishing out all the sweet secrets behind your fave foods. Spoiler alert, today's episode will have you craving sugar. Sorry, not sorry. Today we'll be talking about the OG chocolatey snack that's been causing sugar highs since the 1940s, M&Ms. That's right, those little colorful pellets of joy that you just cannot stop eating once you start. Let's face it, in many ways, M&Ms are the quintessential chocolate candy. Behind maybe the Hershey bar, it doesn't get any more classic than the M&M. With their crispy, sugary coating and smooth milk chocolate, M&Ms have long been one of the most popular sweets in the world, generating almost $3 billion in revenue in 2022. And factories in Tennessee and New Jersey make more than 2 billion of these little nuggets of goodness every single day. That's over 700 billion M&Ms per year. If you put all the M&Ms that Mars makes in a year and put them end to end, you could stretch around the Earth over 40 times. That's a lot of chocolate. But hey, we're not complaining. We know we love their iconic commercials and their dozens of different varieties, from peanut to pretzel to caramel. But have you ever wondered how those cute little candies are made? Or why red M&Ms almost vanished for a hot minute? And oh yeah, how and why they made it all the way to outer space? Stick around, because we've got some sweet stories to tell. So, ready for a history lesson? Picture this. It's the 1930s during the Spanish Civil War. Forrest Mars, the son of the Mars Company's founder Frank Mars, is traveling through Europe when he notices some soldiers snacking on small pieces of chocolate. Upon further inspection, this candy turned out to be a British invention called Smarties. Not the chalky little fruit candies we know and love today. These Smarties were small pellets of chocolate that were coated in a hardened sugar syrup. This coating was designed so the chocolate wouldn't melt in the soldiers' pockets. Yeah, we're talking about pocket chocolate, people. This was wartime. Morale was low, the trenches were brutal, and the European soldiers needed that extra little bit of sweetness to get them through the day. But any other chocolate would have immediately melted in their pockets. So Forrest Mars sees this and is essentially like, wait a second, this is genius, I need to get in on this. Fast forward to 1941, Mars patented his own process for coating chocolate in sugar. The process is known as panning, and M&Ms began being produced in a factory in New Jersey. The name M&Ms is an homage to both Forrest Mars and his buddy Bruce Murray, who was the son of Hershey's president William Murray. Bruce held a 20% stake in the product, which allowed the Mars Company to make their M&Ms using Hershey's chocolate. Since Hershey controlled the ration chocolate at the time, the rations being a result of the Second World War. And speaking of World War II, M&M's first major customer was none other than the US Army. After his travels in Europe, Forrest essentially said, okay, we need to make this a thing for US soldiers, stat. Enter M&Ms, the military-approved pocket candy. The little sugary treats were created specifically for soldiers to be able to enjoy chocolate in hot tropical climates without it melting in their hands or pockets. M&M's iconic slogan, known all around the world, is, "Melts in your mouth, not in your hand." Genius. After all, it's hard to fight a war when your chocolate's melting all over your gear. And get this, they actually made these candies exclusive for the troops. Because of the ration on chocolate, the little sweets were sold only to the army. No M&Ms for civilians until after the war. Harsh, right? But hey, anything for the troops. For all they do for us, they deserve exclusive access to delicious candy. After the war and after it became clear just how incredible M&Ms were, they began being made available to the public, and the rest is history. All right, now let's talk about our favorite part, how these tasty little things are made. It's like a mini science experiment in every bite, and you wouldn't want to miss a single second. First comes the chocolate. A combination of cocoa, milk, and sugar is mixed into a watery paste, and then passed through what are called refiners in order to turn that semi-liquid paste into a powder. Next, the powder makes its way to the conch room, where it's placed into a giant metal bin filled with small beads that mixes the powder with cocoa butter and chocolate liquor, resulting in a smooth, delicious, semi-firm chocolate. Now that we have our perfect chocolate center, it's time to roll it into pellets. The chocolate is deposited into giant metal sheets filled with ovular divots that create the iconic M&M shape. In the Mars factory, the shape is known as the lentil shape, and it was decided upon because it proved to be the best shape to ensure the sugar coating was properly and evenly distributed on the candy. See, nothing is random in the world of candy making. Even something like the shape of an M&M is a carefully decided factor. So, the chocolate rests in its mold and is removed after setting up, and bam! You've got the heart of an M&M. This is the core. Without it, you've basically just got colorful marbles, and no one wants that. Next, those little baby chocolates get their spa day. It's time for their sugar coating, and lastly, their spray tan. Now, according to Mars, how the M&Ms get their first initial hard and sugar coating is actually top secret. Trust us, we tried to get them to crack. But just like the shell of their famous M&Ms, they were strong. What we do know is that the coating is a mix of sugar and corn syrup, and it's evenly distributed onto each candy so that they have a solid white coating around their chocolate centers. Then the little beads of chocolate goodness tumble around in this magical drum where they're coated with layers of colorings made from food coloring, and you guessed it, a little more sugar. Think of it as a colored sugar shower. After the M&Ms have their colors, they receive their signature M stamp. It's like a tattoo for each candy. They don't go halfway with this stuff. Bonus fact, the M on M&Ms used to be black, and was actually switched to white in the 1950s. The more you know, right? And by the way, all those colors, they aren't just for fun, you know. M&Ms are like the rainbow of the candy world. Diverse, beautiful, and totally Instagrammable. The classic little candies are coated in red, blue, yellow, green, orange, and brown. And the way they're grouped together is down to a science. The good people at Mars don't just dump a handful into each bag and call it a day. No, each package of M&Ms includes exactly 25% orange, 25% blue, and 12.5% of brown, red, green, and yellow candies. Yeah, we're not kidding. Don't believe us? Next time you open a bag of M&Ms, count them up and sort them out. Over time, different colors have been introduced and included for certain periods of time. Most recently, purple was introduced in 2022 in order to represent inclusivity and acceptance, which was available for the entirety of the year, while not being permanently included in the mix, which seems ironic. But hey, we don't make the rules. There have also been pink, navy blue, white, and even gold M&Ms in the past. Mars even says it employs color specialists who stay up to date on all the latest color trends in order to best give input as to what M&Ms should be experimented with next. Imagine that introduction at a dinner party. What do I do for work? Oh, I'm an M&M color specialist. I mean, come on. After the little candies are coated, colored, and tattooed, they're all blended together in order to get mixed and ready for bagging. After being put into their bags, they're ready to be shipped all over the world. Initially, M&Ms were actually packed in cardboard tubes back in the day. Not those little bags. That's right, M&Ms were eco-friendly before it was cool. All right, now it's time for some sweet trivia you can totally use to impress someone at your next snack-filled gathering. Fun fact number 1. Red M&Ms were actually banned for an entire decade. Yes, like actually banned. Back in the 1970s, there was a phenomenon known as the red dye scare. After popular red food dyes, red number 2 and red number 4 were found to be carcinogenic. Now, even though red M&Ms were made with the less dangerous and more controversial red number 40, Mars felt it was best to play it safe, so they decided to just eat all the red ones. But I mean, come on, let's be honest. What's a pack of M&Ms without the red? Boring, that's what. It just simply wasn't the same. And so the red M&Ms were reintroduced in 1987, after over 10 years of being on the blacklist. Red M&Ms came back with such a bang that they even became a meme, before memes were even a thing. Yep, red M&Ms walked so your viral TikToks could run. Fun fact number 2, M&Ms have been to space. Yeah, seriously. In 1981, NASA astronauts aboard the Columbia legit took M&Ms to space. I mean, think about it. They're kind of the perfect astronaut food. Small, compact, no mess, plus instant sugar and energy. Astronauts had a blast tossing handfuls of the candy into zero gravity, then catching them in their mouths one by one. It's honestly just surprising they didn't make it into space sooner. Over the years, M&Ms have been included in over 100 missions outside of Earth's orbit. And Mars even has made commemorative candies to honor certain missions, like the flight of the NASA shuttle Atlantis in 2011. Next time you're snacking on a pack of M&Ms, just imagine those little candies floating around in zero gravity, living their best astronaut life. Let's be real, if candy made it to space before you, you're slacking. Fun fact number 3, we all know the cool, funny M&M characters we know today. Shout out to Red and Yellow, you guys are real ones. But those weren't the first M&M's mascots. And the first mascots were weird. Today we have each individual color getting its own identity and personality, like the freaked out, anxious orange M&M or the smooth-talking, weirdly attractive green M&M. We're not judging. And this is really a genius marketing strategy when you think about it. But back in the day, when M&Ms first began airing commercials, the mascots were just stick figure boys and girls with big M&Ms for heads. They were honestly pretty creepy. Picture all the iconic commercials we know now taking place with these scary stick figure misshapen candied children. No thanks. Now, we can't promise that someone is going to quiz you on M&M trivia anytime soon, but hey, if it ever happens, consider yourself fully prepared. Okay, so you remember the movie E.T., right? You know how after being the candy used to lure E.T., Reese's Pieces became like iconic, all because of the movie? Well, plot twist, that was supposed to be M&Ms. Spielberg originally planned to have the little chocolates in his movie, but Mars said no. So Stevie had to try and get the next closest thing. Legend has it, Spielberg, fresh off the flop of his movie 1941, approached Mars without a script, only a drawing of E.T. and a request for $1 million. That's bold. Mars said no, and I guess we can't blame them with a pitch like that. And Spielberg later went to Hershey and got them to agree to use their peanut butter pieces. Can you imagine? I mean, it's not like M&Ms needed the publicity to stay successful or relevant, but wow, missed opportunity much? But hey, M&Ms are still pop culture royalty. I mean, the red M&Ms have been hanging out with Santa in commercials for years. And now we've got the full crew, red, yellow, green, and blue, each with their own distinct personalities. Honestly, they've got more character development than half the reality shows on TV. Yeah, we went there. M&Ms and their pop culture influence are so popular that there are entire superstores just devoted to them. These stores are located in major cities around the world like London, Shanghai, and New York. And they sell everything from different M&M candy to clothes to plushies of your favorite color characters and more. I mean, how many candies do you know that have an entire giant store just for them? These little chocolates are a big deal. Oh, and lastly, did you know M&Ms are like total jet setters? While we have many different flavor varieties available to us in America, like pretzel, caramel, peanut butter, and dark chocolate, there are some flavors you can't even get in the US, mainly in Asia. In Japan, they've got matcha-flavored M&Ms, and in Thailand, they've got coconut ones. Seriously? When is the US gonna catch up? We're sick of hearing how far ahead in the flavor game other countries are. Let's step it up, America. But for real, imagine being the guy who's being pitched weird flavors to the M&M bosses. How about shrimp-flavored M&Ms, guys? Or maybe pizza? Everyone loves pizza. Honestly, there are no rules anymore. Mars, we're waiting for you to blow our minds. So the next time you grab a handful of M&Ms, just remember, these candies have been through international wars, public health controversies, and space missions, and they're still here, looking cuter than ever and tasting amazing. There's a reason Mars makes so many of these little chocolatey pieces of magic. M&Ms are the quintessential chocolate treat. Craveable, sweet, and impossible to put down after just one. I mean, seriously, have you ever opened up a bag of M&Ms and not eaten the entire thing? Be honest. So, which M&M character do you vibe with the most? Drop it in the comments. Are you red, yellow, or maybe a green? And don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more foodie fun from Gourmet Assembly. Thanks for hanging out. And hey, treat yourself to some M&Ms. You've earned it.